Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, viewers, it seems that Pakistan's house of lies is coming crumbling down. It has been hammered and humiliated by the Baloch fighters in Bolan. Even as we speak, it is being smashed and pounded by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And let's not forget how its own media has exposed it left, right and centre for its pathetic response to the Jaffer Express attack and the crisis which was created. So the Pakistani army, which thrives on fake victories, censorship and brutal oppression, is now choking on its own deceit. In this edition of Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, we are going to break down the many lies and fabrications of a weak, embattled and defeated Pakistani army. But first up, let's show you how there are many versions which are emerging on the Jaffer Express hostage situation and the casualty figures which are being officially put out. Well, the Pakistani army tried boasting about the end of it all, calling it a successful operation. The ISPR, which is the Pakistani Army's infamous lie factory, claimed that all the 33 hijackers have been neutralized and only 21 passengers and 4 security personnel had been killed. The BLA, however, have torched this lie to the ground. Let's show you first the contradictions which are coming in. Well, Pakistan has claimed that it has all ended, that 346 hostages have been freed. But you have the BLA there, telling them that no, that's not true. Many more have been killed. It is a failed attempt to cover up the lies and defeat, is what the BLA has said. On one hand, you have Pakistani army claiming that 30 terrorists were killed during the operation, but the BLA says that the battle is still continuing in many different fronts, even as we speak, that Pakistan has failed to save its hostage personnel. And Pakistani government and the army has said that all the terrorists have been sent to hell. Whom do you believe? Well, the jury is out for that. The Baloch fighters have claimed that the operation in Bolan is far from over. As you just saw the statement that they had put out, they are daring the Pakistani army to give independent journalists access to the siege site. Will the Pakistani government respond to this dare? If they have nothing to hide, if the operations are over, why not allow the journalists to go there and see for themselves? Not just the insurgents, even the hostages who survived the Jaffer Express hijack horror have countered the Pakistani army propaganda. In fact, some have claimed that they have seen as many as 70 to 80 dead bodies of civilians lying on that track when they were released. But the Pakistani army says that there were merely 30 people killed. Watch what the hostages freed after this attack have to say.
तकरीबन होएगी 70-80 तो होएंगी। ट्रेन के अंदर भी जो बिठाए थे वो तो अंदर ही मार रहे थे।
अच्छा, ट्रेन के अंदर ही मार दी? 70-80 लाशें पड़ी हुई वहाँ पर। अल्लाह अकबर। आप कैसे भागे?
हम तो सुबह जाने हुआ वो देखे ट्रेन के अंदर गए तो हम पीछे से भागे।
अच्छा, फिर आप कहाँ पर आए?
हम एफसी वालों के पास आए चौकी।
वहीं स्टेशन पर ही आके
चौकी पे।
टाइम कितना लगा सुबह पहुँचने में यहाँ पर?
इधर तो हमें तकरीबन लगेगा 1.5-2 घंटे लगते हैं।
1.5-2 घंटे।
अगर हम इधर ही रहे तो इन्होंने ये हो सकता है ये बोकी उड़ा दिए बम मार के कुछ ऐसा। फिर हमने दरवाज़ा खोला, दरवाज़ा खोल के हम उधर से बाहर निकले। उन्होंने बाहर हमको उधर ना मैदान था उसके उधर बिठा दिया सबको, जो निकल गए हैं सबको उधर बिठा दिए। जो अंदर थे उनको फिर एक मरतबा फिर अंदर गए वो, तो उनको बोला बाहर और जो नहीं आए बाहर उनको उधर ही मार दिया ट्रेन के अंदर ही। जो थे आर्मी वाले वो उनका आईडी कार्ड देख के ना, जो आर्मी वाले थे उनको साइड पे लेके जाके उनको गोलियां मारी हमने, मार के फिर बैठे रहे। फिर पंजाबी जो थे उनको अलग कर दिया, बलोचों को अलग कर दिया, सराकी को जो थे वो उनको भी अलग कर दिया, सबको अलग करके फिर बिठा दिया।
So these are eyewitness accounts. These are people who've managed to escape that carnage. They are coming out and saying that they've seen dead bodies strewn, many more than the 25 that the Pakistani army has claimed. Also, the Pakistani army claimed only 4 soldiers have been killed, but many more as per the eyewitnesses. Well, desperate to shift blame, Pakistan's military has even tried to peddle another lie, They have claimed that the BLA leadership operates out of Afghanistan, but in a stinging slap to Pakistan's face, Taliban's foreign ministry has outrightly rejected this claim, putting it in black and white that no member of the Baloch opposition are present in Afghanistan, nor have they got any links with the Islamic Emirate. Now, this is Pakistan's age-old playbook. When it loses on the battlefield, it blames someone else. But this time, even the Taliban isn't buying the lies of Pakistan. The very extremists that Pakistan had once nurtured, funded, and have now turned against it, exposing its deceit at a global stage. In fact, let's tell you how there's embarrassment coming in from left, right, and center for Pakistan. There you have it on your screens. We've marked it out. When it comes to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, you have at the Banno cantonment on 5th of March, the Pakistani military base was attacked. 12 people were killed, 30 people were injured. They were attacked by Jaish-ul-Fursan and the TTP. Another attack, you had Balochistan province at the area of Bolan, of course, 11th of March. This is the train with over 450 hostages as per the BLA fighters. That attack, that siege is still on. As you can see, the walls are closing in on Pakistan's generals and the Pakistani army. The BLA humiliated the army in Balochistan. Taliban has exposed its lies, and TTP is slaughtering the soldiers in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. How long can the Pakistani army run away from the truth? How long will ISPR's propaganda hide its disgrace? Well, let me go across to our panelists. Today, joining us on the show, we have Major General Dhruv Katoch. He's the director of India Foundation. Also joining us live from Pakistan, we have Faraz Saeed. He's a Pakistani journalist there. Faraz, I'm going to come to you first because my heart really goes out to the people of Pakistan. But the journalistic fraternity, of course, has done a great job. You've put some very straight questions to the government. But unfortunately, shows the frustration of the people of Pakistan, doesn't it? When people are being forced to ask the Pakistani government, ye murgiyan nahi thi. These were people, these were your own civilians, these are your own citizens whom the government failed to protect, and till date they are pandering lies and fakeries about what really happened, not even allowing the media to go there. It must be hard to live in what many here in India call Napak Pakistan.
I mean, I would condemn your statement as in you've invited a Pakistani journalist and you've quoted my country as Napak Pakistan. I mean, what words should I be delivering here anymore? I mean, you should have respected me by not, reading out those words. But I'll still continue. I mean, you've requested my presence here. Of course, there has been a security lapse. Of course, there has been an intelligence failure. And whenever there is such incident, a hostage-like incident, live information is not passed on. That has been a precedence across the world. It is not an isolation handling of situation just in Pakistan. It was a big incident where 400 passengers were taken hostage by BLA terrorists. And I'm also surprised as how you are not undermining the state's information, the state spokesperson's information, and galvanizing and highlighting BLA terrorists' information and their narrative.
Well, Faraz, sorry, a couple of things. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll just come back to you. You said that the operations are not over then, because the government says that it's over. Once operations are over, then there is no point in holding back the media. As long as operations are ongoing, is that why the Pakistani government's not allowing the media to go there first? And second, it is not me who's questioning it. You have Pakistani citizens who came out, rescued and escaped that train. They are the ones who are saying that no, there are many more bodies, that it is a cover-up.
Of course, the government will be questioned as to why did not pass information, because there was a hostage crisis. The families were seeking information, and when the government was not passing on the information to the general public, to the citizens, while the operation was going on back then, there will be questions, and the media was right in asking such questions. I'm only saying that during the hostage-like situation, every government has its own way, and when there is a live hostage situation, it's very rare that the government passes on the live information, because the terrorists can benefit out of that live information. The operation, as per the ISPR statement, is concluded. Now there is a clean sweep operation because there are many people who are unaccounted for. Right?
Okay.
Because many people fled on their own. However, the 33 terrorists which were engaged or gauged by the military have been killed. So the operation...
Has the Pakistani media been allowed to go there for us?
Not yet, because the Operation Clean Sweep is underway. Operation Clean Sweep is underway, ensuring that there are no more terrorists or terrorists who are there, because again the area has to be cleared.
Okay. Okay, Major General Katoch, I must come to you. As you can see, words are being spun. There are different versions which are coming in. Yes, things like this can happen in a place like Pakistan. It can happen, many would say, even in military operations where not much is being revealed. But what is being revealed is the state of Pakistan. The terroristan, as many call it, Major General Katoch. Do you think today their sins have come back to haunt them? All those terror groups that they had been harboring in their backyards today are back to bite them.
Thank you, Meghna. Meghna, in my view, there are two narratives which are being floated around. One is what has been given by the BLA, and one is what has been given by the ISPR.
Right.
In my own view, I think both are unbelievable. The truth lies elsewhere, and it will come out in due course of time. But there is a very large point which I want to give out now. I think what took place during this train hijack is the most severe shock which has been given to the Pakistani establishment, which is going to last a very, very long time. It is not really a number of whether 50 people were killed or 100 were killed or 150. Those are simply numbers. But the sheer fact that an operation of this audacity could take place in a reasonably isolated area, and it took, as per the Pakistani military statement, it took 48 hours to restore some semblance of order. I think that signifies a very serious situation. You see, this was an isolated place. It wasn't as if there was a lot of buildings, etc., around.
Absolutely.
If you have a Google Earth search of that image, a three-dimensional search, the area was very well chosen, which indicates outstanding planning as far as an ambush is concerned. And then for the Pakistan army to have taken such a long time to move in, 2 whole days, I think that is unforgivable. You have to react in a much faster time frame to something like this. And the implications are going to be far, far and wide, because now the entire Baloch people are firmly behind the Balochistan Liberation Army. This is what one incident like this does. And that is going to be the most severe challenge which the Pakistani state is now going to face. The problem is not over. It has just begun. That is the challenge. And I think if they don't address it now, and in my own view, having served in these areas for a very long time and partaken in these operations, the Pakistan army will be forced to tell their government to negotiate with the Baloch people. Without that political settlement, it is beyond the capacity and the capability of the Pakistan army to actually bring the situation in a long-term basis.
They wouldn't be able to control Balochistan, the first occupation for us, Saeed, because time and again, we all know the Balochi activists keep going to the UN. They keep telling about the plight that they have to face, especially the UN reports which have come out repeatedly year after year have talked about the human rights violation, about how blasphemy laws are being misused, how women are being kidnapped, they're being forcibly converted, and of course a whole range of human rights violations. At the end of it, how long can you suppress the people of Balochistan?
I mean, you've blasted me with a series of questions here, but I would want to clarify. The honorable gentleman said that, it took 48 hours for the military to, complete the operation. I only want to suggest and, share an updated information that this, the area where the attack happened was a Mashkaf tunnel. So the blast occurred in the tunnel, and it was very difficult for the military to even access that tunnel. Secondly, the terrain is so treacherous that it is even difficult for the military to even maneuver into that area. Thirdly, why did it took that long? Because again, the militants, the terrorists were taking innocent civilians, the children and the women hostage. They took them into 3 different places with suicide bombers in between, in the midst. So it is not easy.
But that is what the army should do. They are supposed to be a trained lot who knows how to handle and overcome these problems for us. That is exactly why you have army. You do not have civilians going in for rescue ops like that. Trained personnel.
All the militaries are trained for the worst. But when
your army men were butchered. This is what the hostages coming out and saying. They pulled out, pinpointed the security forces. Their IDs were checked. They were butchered. It's more than 4. Is what your own Pakistani citizens who were hostage there are coming out and saying for us.
The ISPR did said that about 21 people who were on board that train were killed in the initial stage of the attack. 4 FC men who were in the near,
Faraz, do you honestly believe everything that the Pakistani army, the ISPR tells you? You're a journalist.
I mean, I'm a Pakistani.
My sympathies for that.
My Pakistani citizens will know if their deads will not reach their home. So I mean, it can't be kept as a secret. The way you're portraying an information,
they're trying to do that.
They'll hide the
Their
dead
fellow
bodies.
Pakistani people who have been killed, who've been butchered. Should they not be accounted for? Shouldn't every life be accounted for?
It is impossible to hide the dead. You need to understand that.
It's impossible to hide sins of the past. It's impossible to hide the atrocities. It's impossible to hide human rights violations. At the end of it, sins have a way of catching up with you, isn't it? Well, unfortunately, our heart goes out for the people of Pakistan who have to deal with this every day. Thank you so much, Major General Dhruv Katoch, for joining us. Really appreciate it for us, Saeed, for joining us here on the show. With that, we're slipping into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll return in 2 minutes.